It starts with a normal night. Dublin city centre, music spilling out of pubs, taxis lining the streets, people laughing, shouting, living their best life. And in the middle of all that noise was Joan Lee, also known as Joleen. She was 38 years old, described by people who know her as friendly, social, and warm, the kind of person who could walk into a room and feel comfortable. That night in April 2022, she went out like thousands of others do every weekend. Nothing about that night looked dangerous, but sometimes the most ordinary nights become the ones that change everything. At some point during the evening, Joan meets a man named Kate Lee. No relation despite the surname. Just two adults meeting in the city. CCTV later showed them together, walking, talking, moving through the streets of Dublin. And here is where the story quietly shifts. In the early hours of the morning, CCTV captured them entering an apartment building on Ranelagh Road. They go inside. The door closes. And that is the last confirmed footage of Joanne Lee alive. Hours pass. Dublin wakes up. People head to work. Coffee shops open. Traffic builds. But inside that apartment, something has already gone terribly wrong. Later that day, emergency services are alerted. Joanne is found unresponsive inside the flat. The guards arrive. And when guards walk into a scene like that, they do not treat it as routine. The apartment is sealed. Forensic officers begin their work. Every surface, every detail, every timeline movement is examined. Outside, life in Dublin continues like nothing happened. But inside that investigation, every minute now matters. Kate Lee is arrested and brought in for questioning. He admits Joanna had been in his apartment, but his explanation that is where things get tense. He tells the guards that her death happened during consensual activity, that it was not intentional, that he panicked afterward. Now pause for a second, because in cases like this, words are one thing, evidence is another. A post-mortem examination is carried out. The medical findings are clear. Joanna Lee died as a result of strangulation. That detail becomes the center of the entire case. The Director of Public Prosecutions reviewed the file. The charge is updated to murder. And now this quiet apartment case becomes a national courtroom story. The trial begins in 2023 at the Central Criminal Court. A jury is sworn in. 12 people who now hold the responsibility of deciding what happened behind that closed door. The prosecution lays out the timeline. CCTV footage shows Joanne and Kate Lee entering the building in the early hours. There is no footage of her leaving alive. Forensic experts explain their finding. The medical evidence is presented carefully. The court hears about the cause of death. The defense does not deny Joanna died in the apartment, but they argue there was no intention to kill. They say it escalated. They say panic followed. The prosecution stands firm. They argue that the level of force involved was not accidental, that the evidence supports intent. Day after day, the jury listens. You can imagine the tension in that courtroom. Joanna's family sitting there, hearing detail about her final hours, waiting for answers. Then the jury retires to deliberate. Silence. When they return, the four-person stands. The verdict, guilty of murder. In Ireland, murder carries a mandatory life sentence. The judge sentences Kate Lee to life imprisonment. And just like that, the legal chapter closes. But emotionally, it never really closes. Joanne Lee left home for a night out in Dublin. She walked through streets filled with lights and noise. She entered an apartment building that had CCTV cameras watching every step, and she never walked back out. The case sparked conversations across Ireland about personal safety, trust, and how quickly things can change behind closed doors. It also highlighted the detailed work of the guards, from securing CCTV to gathering forensic evidence and preparing a case that could stand in court. The investigation was methodic and evidence-based. There was no mystery ending here, no unresolved suspect, no hidden twist, just a simple but devastating truth. A normal night, closed door, a life sentence, and a family left grieving. That is the Joleen case. If you want fast updates on Irish true crime, subscribe. We cover everything before it hits mainstream headlines. Thank you.